بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعزائي طلبة وطالبات شهادة الثانوية العامة، أهلا بكم. النهاردة هناخد الحصة المراجعة النهائية في مادة الإحصاء. طبعا زي ما قلت قبل كده إن مادة الإحصاء دي مادة مهمة جدا جدا. العالم كله بيتقدم في مادة الإحصاء. ليه؟ لأن هو علم منتشر في جميع العلوم. حتى الطلبة في قسم أدبي لو هم بيستهتروا بمادة الإحصاء هيدخلوا أي كلية في جامعات مصر أو الجامعات الأخرى هيلاقوا علم الإحصاء معاهم دايما. عشان كده بقول إن إحنا نهتم بعلم الإحصاء لأنه هو علم مهم جدا جدا، مش عشان هو درجة نجاح فقط إن نستهتر بيه، لا، لابد إن نهتم بالمادة لأن أهميتها مهمة جدا في جميع الكليات في جميع الجامعات المصرية والأجنبية. Welcome my dear student in our math program for secondary 3. Today we are taking final revision in statistics. Final revision. Dear student, look at multi-choice number 1. If A subset from B, A is even, subset from B even, and probability of complement A equals 7/10, and probability of event B equals 0.5. Then the required is find probability of A condition B. We have 4 multi-choice. Number A 1/5, number B 3/5, number C 4/5, number D 3/20. What is the correct answer? Number B 3/5. Why? Dear student, look at if we have A subset from B, then probability of intersection equals probability of A. Why? Because if we have two events, A subset from B, then A intersect B equals A. Then probability of A intersect B equals B of A. Probability of union of two events A and B equal probability of large B. Then what is the rule of probability of A under condition B equals B of intersect between A and B over B over B. Then by substitution B A dash or complement equals 0.7, then we deduce that probability of A 1 minus probability of A dash equal 0.3. Therefore, probability of A under condition B equal 0.3 over 0.5. Answer is 3/5. Number 2. If we have sample space S equals set of A, B, and C, A, B, and C are mutually exclusive even such that probability of A 0.25, probability of B 0.4. What is the probability of C? Number A 0.1, number B 0.15, number C 0.35, number D 0.65. Answer is 0.35, letter C. Why? Look at the solution. We know that if we have 3 events A, B, and C, sum of probability of 3 events equals 1. Then we reduce probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C equals 1. And we have probability of A 0.4, probability of B 0.25, then probability of C equals 1 minus sum of 0.4 plus 0.25, answer is 0.35. Number 3, if we have A and B are two independent events such that probability of A 0.2 and probability of B 0.6, then what is the probability of union between two events A and B? Multiple choice. Number A 0.12, B 0.32, C 0.68, D 0.8. What is the correct answer? 0.68. Why? Look at the solution. What do you mean independent? Mean if we have two events A and B, then probability of intersection between A and B equals probability of the first times probability of the second. Then we have probability of A equals 0.2 and probability of B 0.6, answer is 0.12. Then what is the probability of union between A and B? Equals probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of intersection between A and B. By substitution, then probability of A union B equals 0.6 plus 0.2 negative 0.12, answer is 0.68. As example, if x is random variable with mean equals 120 and standard deviation equals 6, then what is its coefficient of variation? Remember, dear student, x random variable with arithmetic mean mu 120, standard deviation equals 6. What is the standard? Sigma. Then its coefficient of variation equals what? Is A 60, B 1/20, C is 20, D is 5. What is the answer? Is 5. Why? Look at the solution. Coefficient of variation, dear student, equals sigma over mu times 100%. What is the sigma? Standard deviation. What is the mu? Arithmetic mean. Then by substitution from the given, answer is 6 over 120 over 100% equal 5%. Another example. If x is discrete random variable with range 0, 1, 3, 5 between two places, and probability of x b of x equals 0 equal half, and probability when x equals 1, 1/6, probability of x equals 3, 1/4, then what is the arithmetic mean? Look at, dear student, we have 4 variables of x, 0, 1, 3, and 5. F of x equals 1/2, 1/6, 1/4, 1/12. we form table consists of 4 columns. The first column is xi, second column f of xi, third column xi times f of xi, fourth column xi square times f of xi. The first column, second column from given 0, 1, 3, 5, these values of xi. f of xi from given have 1 over 6 quarter 1 over 12. Then xi multiply of f of xi, first column times second column equals 0, 1 over 6, 3 quarter and 5 over 12. By using square the first column and multiply the second column, we form the fourth column, xi square times f of xi. The fourth column becomes 0, 1 over 6, 9 over 4, 25 over 12. After that, dear student, we know that probability of when x equals 5 equals 1 minus bracket contains half plus 1 over 6 plus quarter equals 1 over 12. Why? Because we have a rule. What is the rule? Sum of all probabilities equals 1. Then if we have 4 events and we know probability of 3 and the required the probability of the fourth, we subtract sum of all probabilities from 1, then probability when x equals 5 equals 1 over 12. Then what is the mu? Mu equals sum of xi times f of xi equals 4 over 3. This is the third column. This is arithmetic mean. After that, we translate to another example. Dear student, we know that the probability has condition. Sum of all probabilities in our event equals 1. Arithmetic mean. What is the arithmetic mean? It's simple mu. What is the mu? Is sum of xi times f of xi. We have standard deviation, and in this case we use discrete variable. Now we are translate to important example. Now we are translate to another example. If x is a normal random variable with arithmetic mean mu equals 165, its standard deviation is sigma, and probability when x more than or equals 180 equals 0.006. What is the standard deviation? Dear student, in this case we let x minus mu over sigma equals z. Then look at probability of z more than or equals 180 minus mu over sigma equals 0.0062. Then look at dear student, the opposite figure represent k when 0.5 is half of the shape minus what equals 0.062. Then look at the area equals 0.5 minus 0.0062 area under curve with green region is 0.4938. From the table, dear student, 180 minus 165 over sigma equals 2.5. Then 2.5 sigma equal 15. Then standard deviation equal 15 divided 2.5. Answer is 6. Another example. The last example is normal, but in this example, discrete random variable. X is discrete random variable. It's with range set of 0, 1, 2. And its distribution function is determined by the relation f of x equals ax over 6. Then what is the value of a? Dear student, look at distribution function determined by the relation f of x equals ax over 6. We find f of 0, f of 1, and f of 2. Why? Because to find the value of constant a. F of 0 by substitution about x equals 0 equals 0. F of 1 substitution about x equal 1 is equals a over 6. F of 2 substitution about x equals 2 equals 2a over 6. We know that sum of all probabilities equals 1. Then a over 6 plus 2a over 6 equal 1. Then 3a over 6 equals 1, or half a equals 1. What is the value of a? In this case, a equals 2. Dear student, look at another example. A man and his wife have insured their life, and a life insurance company, if this company has estimated the probability that the man will live more than 60 years to be 0.2. Remember, this company estimated probability that the man will live more than 60 years to be 0.2. This is probability. And the probability of his wife live more than the same period of time to be 0.3. Then what is the required probability that the man and his wife will live more than 60 years together? What is the answer? Look at, dear student, intersection between A and B, two event express man and his wife, equals independent equals probability of the first times probability of the second. Then A and B independent events, probability of A intersect B equals B, probability of A times probability of B. 0.2, this probability of the man times 0.3 probability of his wife. Then answer is 0.06. Calculate the Pearson correlation coefficient between two variables x and y and identify its type. If sum x equals 68, sum y equals 36, sum xy equals 348. Also, from the given, sum x squared equals what? 620. Sum y squared equals 204 and n equals 8. Remember, dear student, the required is person coefficient. We have some x or some values of x and some values of y and some product of xy. Also, we know some x squared, some y squared, and the number is 8. Look at the student solution. What is the person correlation coefficient x and student? R equals bracket. This has fraction, its numerator, n times sum xy minus product of sum x sum y over square root n sum x square minus sum x for all power 2 dot or times square root n square sum square of y minus sum y for all power 2. We know that from the given n, we know n, sum xy, sum x, sum y, sum x square, sum y square. After that, by substitution, look at dear student, when substitution about n equals 8, sum xy equals 348, sum x 68, sum y 36, in numerator over square root 8 times 620 minus 68 for all power 2 times square root 8 times 204 minus 36 for all power 2. What is the value of r? Then r equals 1. What you mean? R equals 1 is correlation coefficient is perfect direct. This type of correlation coefficient of person is perfect direct. Now we are translate to another example. If x is continuous random variable where f of x equals 1 over 8x, where x more than or equal 3, smaller than or equal to 5, and 0 otherwise. Dear student, we have continuous random variable. F of x has two branches. The first branch 1 over 8x, where x more than or equal 3, smaller than or equal 5, equal 0 otherwise. Then what is the required? Prove that f of x is a density function to the random variable x. Remember, dear student, what you mean of density function? Before, we know that density function probability equal 1. Look at what is the second required? Find probability when x more than 4. Solution. Look at from f of x by substitution x more than or equal 3, smaller than or equal 5. When x equal 3, by substitution f of 3 equals 3 over 8. Also for f of 5, by substitution x equals 5, 5 over 8. Look at the figure. The opposite figure represents trapezium. Has, yes, two bases. The small base is 3 over 8. The big base is 5 over 8. The height difference between 3 and 5 equals 2. By using area of trapezium, what is the meaning area of trapezium? X and student. base 1 plus base 2 over 2 times height, or half multiply sum of two bases times height. Then area of trapezium, half multiply bracket contains sum of two bases, 5 over 8 plus 3 over 8 times height. What is the height? Difference between 3 and 5. Answer is 1. What you mean? Area equals 1. Then the function is density. X more, when find probability, when x more than or equal 3, smaller than or equal 5, we know equals 1. What you mean? The f of x is density function. Then, dear student, when we prove that the function is density, we must prove probability in closed interval 3 and 5 equals 1. We know that f of x is a density function. Then, after that, we find the second required when x more than 4. Look at x more than 4. More than 4 to 5. Why? Because the domain of the function from 3 to 5. What is the probability when x is more than 4? Equals probability when x more than 4 and smaller than or equal 5. By using f of 4 equal half, f of 5, 5 over 8, by using area of trapezium, which two bases, 1 over 2, 5 over 8, and the height is 1. Why? Because height difference between 4 and 5. Then area of trapezium equals half multiply sum of half plus 1 over 8 times 1. At the first, find f of 4 equal half, f of 5 equal 5